Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark.
Let them show you exactly who they are.
I think she just hates the fact that she doesn't have the spotlight.
Racist dumbasses over a foul in a WNBA game. They cry wolf left and right.
It was a flagrant foul called on Caitlin Clark. Angel Reese and Aaliyah Boston assessed a technical foul.
Jason Whitlock absolutely scorching Angel Reese over her hate for Caitlin Clark.
Why hate Caitlin Clark? You're nothing without Caitlin Clark.
The Indiana Fever basically got whatever free agent player they wanted. They put a super team around Caitlin Clark.
The bogus investigation that's going on by the WNBA.
It's super loud in here, although I didn't hear anything. I think, that's why they're doing the investigation. That's why they're looking into it. That doesn't mean nothing happened. So you just trust the league's investigation, and I'm sure they'll do the right thing.
You won't believe what just went down. The rivalry between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark has officially exploded. And this time, it's not just about basketball. A hard foul on the court has reignited old tensions. But what came next shocked everyone.
Jason Whitlock absolutely scorching Angel Reese over her hate for Caitlin Clark.
Jason Whitlock just went all in, exposing what he calls the real reason behind Angel Reese's constant jabs at Caitlin Clark.
The baffling reaction by these players, particularly Angel Reese, not being able to recognize the impact that Caitlin Clark could have on their life and their pocketbook, not understanding that, but being so petty and jealous that it's Caitlin Clark versus not them, that they've got to scorch earth.
He says it's not competition, it's hatred, jealousy, and an agenda that's been hiding in plain sight. And now, she can't hide it anymore. This isn't just about one game. It's about the war brewing under the surface of the WNBA. Stay with me, because what you're about to hear changes everything. It all started with a single aggressive play.
In this case, there was a hard foul. I would say a routine hard foul.
Yeah.
Whenever you have a player that has the layup attempt, you make sure that they don't get the shot off.
During a heated WNBA matchup between the Indiana Fever and the Chicago Sky, Caitlin Clark drove hard to the basket, and what happened next set the entire league on fire. Angel Reese, known for her physical presence and intense attitude on the court, took a hard foul from Clark. Now, in most games, this would have just been a take foul, a common tactic to stop a fast break, but not this time.
Angel Reese that took offense to a hard foul at the block on a layup attempt by Caitlin Clark. She got pissed off, came back at Caitlin Clark. Aaliyah Boston got involved, got in the middle of things. It was a flagrant foul called on Caitlin Clark. Angel Reese and Aaliyah Boston assessed a technical foul.
Angel didn't just get up and move on. She snapped. Furious, she got in Clark's face, shouting, posturing, drawing the attention of everyone in the arena. Aaliyah Boston stepped in, trying to calm things down, but it was too late. The referees had to step in. The result? A flagrant foul called on Clark. Technicals handed to Reese in Boston.
In the national championship game, where Angel Reese started trolling her right after the game, they win a championship, and your first thoughts are, I got to go mock the star of the other team. Caitlin Clark has never done anything to Angel Reese other than make her famous.
But this wasn't just about a foul anymore. It was about history, about all the simmering tension between these two women, built up over seasons of hype, headlines, and subtle shots.
Caitlin Clark described it perfectly after the game. It's a take foul.
Yeah.
It's going to be a layup if I don't go in. I'm clearly going for the ball.
That's what you do.
It's a common foul in basketball.
Clark later explained it was a routine basketball move. Just stopping a layup, nothing more. It's a foul, she said. If I don't stop her, it's an easy 2 points. And anyone who knows the game could see she was right. There was no excessive force, no malicious intent, just physical, strategic defense.
This whole persona that she's taken on, it's toxic.
So in other words, Angel Reese shouldn't be such a menace while drinking her juice in South Central. Yeah, there's obviously Angel Reese fatigue. So what you have described is Caitlin Clark is that fine perfume that attracts people.
But Angel's reaction told a different story, a personal one. And that moment on the court, it turned a simple play into a national flashpoint. The crowd lit up, social media exploded, everyone had a take, and suddenly it wasn't just about a foul, it was about everything Angel Reese feels about Caitlin Clark.
Angel Reese believes she's underpaid. In a league benefiting significantly from Caitlin Clark, Reese hates the one player who might lead the league to profitability. Reese hates the player who has made her rich and famous. Reese is probably the 30th best player in the WNBA. Because of her one-sided feud with Caitlin Clark, she's arguably the second most recognizable player in the league and earning millions of dollars off the court. This is insanity. Why hate Caitlin Clark? You're nothing without Caitlin Clark.
And that's exactly what Jason Whitlock would dive into next, taking the gloves off and calling this exactly what he thinks it is: hate, jealousy, and a growing divide that goes way beyond the game. When that foul turned into a viral flashpoint, Jason Whitlock didn't hold back, not even a little. On his show, he delivered a scorching breakdown of the entire Angel Reese versus Caitlin Clark saga. And according to him, it's not just about basketball anymore. It's about resentment, envy, and what he boldly labeled as hate.
Jason Whitlock absolutely scorching Angel Reese over her hate for Caitlin Clark.
Why hate Caitlin Clark? You're nothing without Caitlin Clark.
Whitlock said flat out, Angel Reese can't stand what Caitlin Clark represents. Not just as a player, but as a symbol. The attention, the media love, the sold-out arenas, the endorsements. He believes Angel doesn't hate Caitlin Clark the person, but she hates the spotlight Caitlin commands.
Angel Reese is probably the second most recognizable player, but that's of a league where a lot of players most people can't pick out of a lineup outside of Caitlin Clark. So I don't know what that says exactly, but he's right. And these players, there's several of them. You could see it last year. They got a real problem with the fact that Caitlin came in and not only moved the needle, but broke the needle. I almost feel like that during the reaction by Angel Reese,
a spotlight that used to shine on Reese before Clark burst into the WNBA and rewrote the narrative. To Whitlock, Angel Reese sees Caitlin Clark not just as a rival, but as a threat to her relevance, a threat to what she believes is her rightful place at the top of women's basketball. And rather than embracing Caitlin's rise, Whitlock argues that Reese has tried to tear her down every chance she gets, through post-game taunts, interviews, body language, and now explosive reactions on the court.
Angel Reese believes she's underpaid. In a league benefiting significantly from Caitlin Clark, Reese hates the one player who might lead the league to profitability. Reese hates the player who has made her rich and famous. Reese is probably the 30th best player in the WNBA. Because of her one-sided feud with Caitlin Clark, she's arguably the second most recognizable player in the league and earning millions of dollars off the court. This is insanity. Why hate Caitlin Clark? You're nothing without Caitlin Clark.
Whitlock didn't stop there. He called Reese's behavior toxic, suggesting she's riding Clark's coattails, turning every small moment into a spectacle just to stay in the headlines. He even claimed that Reese, despite being only a decent player statistically, is now the second most talked about name in the league solely because of this one-sided rivalry. Why hate the one player who's made you famous? Whitlock asked. Without Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese would be just another name on the roster. Harsh words? Absolutely. But they sparked an even bigger conversation. Is Whitlock exposing a truth the media is afraid to touch? Or is he feeding into the controversy for clicks and outrage? Either way, one thing is certain, he's not alone in thinking something deeper is going on here. And the reaction from the media and public proves just how divided the court of opinion has become.
It's super loud in here, although I didn't hear anything. I think, that's why they're doing the investigation. That's why they're looking into it. That doesn't mean nothing happened. So you just trust the league's investigation, and I'm sure they'll do the right thing.
As soon as Jason Whitlock's take hit the airwaves, the conversation around Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark erupted far beyond sports, spilling into mainstream media, social platforms, and public discourse like wildfire. What was once a basketball rivalry quickly turned into a cultural flashpoint. First came Robert Griffin III, RG3, the former NFL star and now media personality, who took Whitlock's side, declaring on social media,
So here's RG3, Robert Griffin III. I believe he's now with Fox Sports. He used to be with ESPN, former NFL star. who's been a little woke, but is coming out of his wokeness to some degree. Anyway, here's RG3. After watching Caitlin Clark's flagrant foul on Angel Reese and the aftermath, there is no way Angel Reese can continue to lie that she doesn't dislike Caitlin Clark. I know what hatred looks like. Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark. Not some basketball rivalry hate either. Hate. This was seen as some sort of betrayal or like, oh my, what do you mean? You can't bring hate into. This has been so obvious since they met.
Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark. Not the basketball rivalry kind of hate, real hate. That one post lit the internet on fire. It was blunt, unapologetic, and, depending on who you asked, either refreshingly honest or wildly irresponsible.
The WNBA stands with us because they put out that statement immediately. The NBA would stand with us because they put out that statement easily. You'd have players, male and female, coaches, assistants, executives, team owners, etc. Who's going to speak up? Who's going to be quiet? What you going to say? And why don't you say more? Or why are you saying less? These kind of things edify us and positions us to fight the real fights, as opposed to being distracted by fighting little menial things that happen on side. You can't legislate what's in people's hearts.
Ryan Clark, another prominent ESPN analyst, came out swinging. But instead of debating the substance of RG3's comment, he took aim at him personally. Clark said RG3 had no right to speak on the struggles of black women because he was married to a white woman. That's right.
There is no way Angel Reese can continue to lie that she doesn't dislike Caitlin Clark. I know what hatred looks like. Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark, not some basketball rivalry hate either. Hate. That from RG3.
Yeah, I saw where Ryan Clark responded to it in a video and said that he can't chime in because RG3 is married to a white woman, so he doesn't know the plight of black women everywhere and can't comment, which is ludicrous. I also think it's ludicrous for Ryan Clark to act like every single black woman on the planet knows exactly what Angel Reese is thinking anytime. I think that diminishes black women and Angel Reese. When you try to just melt it down to one individual thought is absurd.
A conversation about a basketball foul spiraled into accusations of cultural betrayal and racial loyalty. It didn't stop there. ESPN commentators, social media activists, and WNBA fans started dividing into camps. One side accused Angel Reese of being bitter, toxic, and unwilling to share the spotlight with Caitlin Clark, someone who they argue has done more to uplift the WNBA in a few weeks than others have in years. The other side insisted this was yet another example of a double standard, where a confident black woman gets labeled angry or jealous, while a white athlete is celebrated as a hero.
I think she hates the fact that she's not the star and that she sees it as white propaganda that Caitlin Clark is suddenly popular and everybody watches women's basketball because of Caitlin Clark. She hates it.
Even the WNBA had to issue a statement condemning racism and promising to investigate alleged fan behavior during the game. But many called it performative, a copy and paste PR move with no real action behind it. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark herself took the high road, saying she didn't hear anything inappropriate and trusted the league to handle it.
It's super loud in here, although I didn't hear anything. I think, that's why they're doing the investigation. That's why they're looking into it. That doesn't mean nothing happened. So you just trust the league's investigation, and I'm sure they'll do the right thing.
They're investigating alleged comments from fans towards sky players. We talked about this in the past. Now it should be an inclusive environment. You want to speak on that?
Yeah, there's no place for that in our game. There's no place for that in society. And, certainly we want every person that comes into our arena, whether player, whether fan, to have a great experience. So I appreciate the league doing that. I appreciate, the Fever organization has been at the forefront of that since, really day one and what they're doing. So we'll, hopefully the investigation, we'll leave that up to them to find anything and take the proper action if so.
Still, that didn't stop the narrative from spiraling. And maybe that's the real story here. That this isn't just about basketball anymore. It's about identity, image, and who gets to define success. Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark are no longer just players. They're symbols in a much larger fight. One that the media keeps stoking and one that fans can't stop watching. Because whether you love Angel or Caitlin, everybody's picking a side. So now the question isn't just about a foul, It's about everything that came with it.
So she hates that part of it and what she sees Caitlin Clark representing. I don't think she hates Caitlin Clark.
Is Angel Reese really driven by hate and jealousy toward Caitlin Clark? Or is this all just another case of the media twisting a competitive rivalry into something deeper and uglier? Jason Whitlock made his stance clear. RG3 added fuel to the fire, and the public completely divided. But one thing is certain, this rivalry isn't going anywhere. And whether you see Angel Reese as the villain or the victim, she's now locked into a story that's bigger than just basketball.
Angel Reese allegedly is, the rival to Caitlin Clark, and, just a cut below Caitlin Clark.
What do you think? Is Whitlock right? Is Angel Reese exposing her own bitterness every time she steps on the court with Caitlin Clark? Or is this just another overblown media storm targeting a strong black woman who dares to show emotion? Let me know in the comments. I want to hear your take. And if you want more unfiltered breakdowns just like this, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because this rivalry is only heating up. Until next time, stay sharp, stay real,